There's one question I hear all the time from people relocating to Huntsville, and that's, should I live in Huntsville or Madison? And the truth is, there's no one size fits all answer. In this video, I'm comparing both cities side by side, from home prices and schools to commute times, neighborhoods, and lifestyle, so you can confidently choose the one that's best fit for you. But before we dive in, if you're thinking about relocating to Huntsville or Madison, I help people just like you every single week find the right neighborhood for their lifestyle, budget, and goals. If you'd like a personalized relocation plan, schedule a free relocation strategy call by using the link in the description. I'd love to help you make your move to North Alabama as smooth as possible. So now let's settle one of the biggest relocation debates in North Alabama. Huntsville or Madison, which one is right for you? All right, this is going to be a super fun one. This is one of the biggest questions I hear anytime somebody's moving here to the Huntsville area is, what's better, Huntsville or Madison? So I'm going to break down what's great about each of the cities, the cons of each, and it really depends on you, your family, and what you like to do and where you're working. And so there's no real wrong answer here. It's just what's best for you. So I'm going to jump right in. So what you're learning this, the housing, prices, schools, the commutes, lifestyle and entertainment, and then recommendation based on certain things like where you work and things like that. So these are just what we'll go over during this video. So where exactly are they? These are the areas that come up quite often: downtown Huntsville, Madison City, Redstone Arsenal, Research Park, Highway 72. Those are all locations that are very popular when it comes to either work or entertainment after hours, after work hours. And I've recorded a video. It's going to be up in one of these corners, and it's an in-depth map overview of the Huntsville area, where everything's located, some of the bigger neighborhoods, most well-known neighborhoods, shopping areas, and it breaks down all of that. So you can click on that link that's up here in the top of the video and learn where everything's located. So just a brief overview: Madison is essentially surrounded by Huntsville. Huntsville has annexed a lot of property that goes all the way north to the west of Madison, and all the way out towards I-65. There's a lot of things going on out there. Facebook, Amazon, Target Distribution Center, Toyota, Mazda's, all out to the west of Madison. So those are all in Huntsville city limits. So that's just kind of a brief overview of, verbally telling about the. But if you watch that video, you can actually see a map, and I show where everything's located. All right, quick comparison: Huntsville, larger city with more variety when it comes to housing. There's, very, I wouldn't say very old, but some of your older homes. It's also mixed in with some new construction. There's a lot of new construction in northeast and southeast Huntsville. Madison is a smaller, tight-knit community. There's more entertainment and nightlife in Huntsville, where Madison's more quiet and family-oriented. Wider range of neighborhoods, like I said, you're older and you're newer. Madison's more master plan, newer subdivisions. There is some older homes in Madison, just not as much as Huntsville. Huntsville has more of that urban type energy, especially in the downtown area, and where Madison is more your classic suburban atmosphere. And oops, let's go back. Huntsville has more housing inventory, price ranges. Price range can go anywhere from $150 to a couple $1 million in Huntsville. It just depends on the area that you're looking for and what type of house you're looking for. Madison, mostly newer homes, I would say within the last 30 years or so. And then there's a lot of curb appeal. There's a lot of Madison really cares about. Huntsville does too, but they both of them do a great job at making sure that the city looks clean. They have pickup crews all the time, but it's just something that's big in both areas. Huntsville has restaurants, festivals, events. Von Braun Center, the Orion, all those. They have all types of different things at like Mid City and Big Spring Park, and the big seller for Madison is the top-ranked school system. All right. All right, housing in Huntsville, historic homes with character and charms, all the way to luxury properties, executive estates, downtown condos. If you want to live in an apartment, there's apartments everywhere. Abundant new construction. That's also in Madison, but all around Huntsville. You see in my market update videos. I've got a new construction market update video that comes out every month. Harvest, Meridianville, all those areas. There's all kinds of new construction, but southeast and northeast Huntsville right now are the areas where they're building a lot of new construction. For Huntsville, more inventory, which means less bidding pressure, and the widest price range in the area. So cons, older neighborhoods that may need update. There's a lot of properties that are being renovated and then sold, but there are a lot of properties that need work done. And if that's something that you want to do, you can probably get something a little less, for a little less cost. And then put the money that you would put into something else into the renovations. It's just personal preference if you want to do that. Due diligence on specific street matters more. I guess just with anything, where you want to live, what type of people you want to be around, family oriented. There's all kinds of things like school systems. Like in my neighborhood, I'm zoned for Huntsville City, but one street over is zoned for Madison. That's something you have to pay attention to if you have kids and want them to be in a certain school district. That's just some of the due diligence that you have to do. You got to also look at crime records and all that kind of stuff. So, and I help with that, or any real estate agent should help you with that. If they don't, and they're not a good agent. But yeah, good. Like it says here, good agent knows the city deeply, and they know what goes on. And it can, if they don't, then they can definitely find the information and get with an agent. Other agents that know, or we're just good at finding information about an area. All right, so housing in Madison. Madison, well maintained. Like I said, most of them within the last 10, 20, 30 years. Just sold a property in Madison that's about 25 years old. Still nice house, great area, close to Cliff Farm. When that house was built, Cliff Farm wasn't there, but now their property value is going to go up because of the area that's right there and all the shopping and restaurants and everything. That's Cliff Farm is a nice area that people like to go in the Madison Huntsville area, that 72 West. Pros: master plan communities with HOAs. If you I don't know many people that like HOAs, but if you want some type of entity to police the neighborhood to make it look better, there's a lot of these in Huntsville or in Madison. A lot of them aren't that expensive, maybe $400 or $500 a year, but it's just something that you'll have to, if you want to live in Madison, that you'll have to deal with. Most newer subdivisions with modern floor plans, larger lots compared to some of the price points in Huntsville, and then neighborhood pride and people taking care of their properties. It's not a knock on Huntsville. It's just a lot of these newer neighborhoods, have HOAs, so they have to, people have to keep up with their stuff. For cons, less overall inventory. That is true. We see that Huntsville has a couple thousand that are on the market when Madison has a couple hundred. It's just Huntsville's bigger, so they're going to have more inventory. Higher competition because people, especially with families, want to live in the Madison City School District. So less inventory means higher demand, higher competition. And of course, Madison is mostly newer construction, so you're not going to see your historic type properties in the Madison market. All right, cost of living comparison. Madison median prices tend to run higher than comparable houses in Huntsville. Expect to pay a school district premium in the 5.8 and 5.6 zip codes. In 5.6, you have to be careful. I guess in all of them, like I said earlier, you got to be careful. You got to make sure that you're paying for the right school district. So that is something that you got to keep up with, and make sure you do your due diligence before you put in an offer. And like I said, an agent should help you with that. Property taxes. Alabama has some of the lowest property taxes in the nation, but both cities benefit from this. But Madison's is, of course, higher assessed values for the property. Utilities is pretty much the same. Yeah. And HOA fees, it's going to happen more in the Madison and probably the newer construction areas in Huntsville as well. That's just something you got to be aware of and expect whenever you purchase a property in Madison. All right, schools. Me personally, I don't have a lot of experience with the school system. With my family, we homeschooled our kids my youngest has never gone to a public school. My oldest was in public school for 2 years. So we were zoned for Huntsville City Schools. We just didn't care for the school too much. I'm not going to say which one. But it's just we didn't want to move our family after just moving here. And then it was something we didn't put a lot of thought into because our kids were 3. And then once they got to that school age, 5, we were like, oh, but we didn't want to move because it had only been 2 years. There's great Huntsville City Schools. They have more diverse offerings, including magnet specialty schools. They specialize in STEM and art programs. That's one good thing that I've seen. Like Grissom has my kids dance, so we noticed some things. But Grissom has a really nice dance program. There's also private schools within the city. Westminster. There's one on I think Whitesburg, and there's just a variety of different schools. We can always go over what is best for you and your family, what you want to do. But Madison City Schools is, they're, I guess would say, nationally recognized as, they're always voted out one of the best schools in the state of Alabama, best school systems in the state of Alabama. And it's, pretty much the number one reason why families move to Madison over Huntsville. And of course, strong athletics. Bob Jones, James Clemens, they're always, especially with like football and stuff, basketball, they're putting some of those athletes into D1 schools, and they got strong arts and academic programs. So, both have their pros and both have their cons. You're going to pay a little bit more for Madison City Schools, but you have a lot of options when it comes to Huntsville City Schools too. So, if you don't necessarily want to go to public school, there's tons of private schools, and different ways of getting your kids into a great situation. You can do that in the public schools in Huntsville too. It's just we didn't personally care for the school we were zoned for. All right, Commute. Which city wins your job? There's a lot. Redstone Arsenal. They have a lot of gates. Right now there's an issue with one of the gates on the east side, on the Huntsville side. Commute has pretty much doubled. I've seen pictures of it backed up all the way to the Parkway and beyond. So, Redstone's going through something right now with security and being able to hire people. And, that's causing a lot of issues. Madison has one gate on the west side. It seems to be sufficient for the amount of homes that are over here. Of course, gate 9, with the closure of one, I forget which gate it is on the other side. I think it's gate 3. A lot of them are having to go through gate 1 or gate 9. And so, Redstone, depending on where you want to live, right now Madison might be a better, but that may change once they get their numbers back up when it comes to security personnel. So that's just something that's going on right now that's ultra specific to this time. We've seen in the past where they have all the gates open and everything seems to flow okay. Gate 9 sometimes can be a little bit backed up, but with the widening of that over the last couple of years and the number of gates they have, that's alleviated some of that. So Research Park it's kind of in between each city. There's the Madison and Huntsville side. You can get to it from multiple different areas, and so there's no real winner when it comes to that. Downtown Huntsville, of course. Huntsville's closer. You can get to it quickly from Madison. It probably takes me 15-20 minutes to get over there from the airport side. And like it says here, Huntsville Airport, Madison's definitely closer. It's on the Madison side. If you want to live closer to the airport, Madison's better. If you want to live closer to downtown, Huntsville would be better. It's just all what's up to your personal preferences. So, commute, it really comes down to where you work and what type of commute you want to put up with. If you don't mind driving 30-40 minutes a day, then you can live in Harvest or Meridianville, or if you want to be right close, somewhere off Zert Road, if you work on Redstone, especially at like NASA or something, Zert Road, the Madison area, South Madison, south of I-565, that's a great area. When I used to work on Redstone, I worked on the west side of Redstone. It took me about 10 minutes to get to work from where I live now, right off of Zert Road. Entertainment right now, Huntsville takes the lead. And they got all kinds of things to do. Stovehouse, Campus 805, Mid-City, Orion Amphitheater, Von Braun Center, Big Spring Park. There's just all kinds of things to do. But Madison's growing. Cliff Farmtown, Madison, Toyota Field, the Trash Pandas. But you can get to anywhere. That's one of the things I say. I can get to anywhere within 30 minutes, based off of where I live, because I can easily get to the interstate. I can easily, you can interchange between I-565 and 255, 72. I'm not one to complain about all the traffic, because I still can get anywhere within 30 minutes, and that's okay for me and my family. Restaurants and shopping, both have Bridge Street, Parkway Place Mall, which there's not much there anymore. There's different things going on along the Parkway, and Madison has Cliff Farm, new Costco. There's Costco over in Huntsville. Town Madison is adding more restaurants. There's not a lot of shopping there, but it's both areas have the same things basically. So if Huntsville has something, Madison's probably going to have it as well, and vice versa. And so that's not really a deciding factor for me or any of my past clients. There hadn't been something that were like, oh, I've got to live by this, because basically there's 2 or 3 of everything in the Huntsville area. Parks and outdoor life. Huntsville has Montesano State Park. I mean, there is a ton of trails up there. I've run thousands and thousands of miles there. Very well maintained. Just a great place to go hike or run. And then also on the mountain, there's the Land Trust. There's Land Trust trails. There's 70 plus miles over there. You can go walk over at Big Spring Park, and then there's also athletic fields. There's volleyball. I think there's tennis courts there. Yeah, there is tennis courts, pickleball, soccer fields. There is a cross country trails over there at John Hunt Park. So that's one of the newer areas in town. They've built up over the last couple of years. But I used to run that cross country when they first opened it. That cross country course there. That's super nice. Madison, they have Dublin Park, Palmer Park, Indian Creek Greenway, and then neighborhood parks within the city. But one thing I don't have listed on here, but that's I actually have one of the greenways. But between Madison and Huntsville, both there are greenways that not all of them connect yet, and they're working on connecting all these over time, and you can run a couple miles, 3 to 5, 7 miles, and there's just runners and cyclists on it, and it's just a great place to run. There's one off of Palmer Park, I believe, in Madison that heads north, and they're just all over the city. The city website has a greenway map that you can look at. All right, growth for future development. Downtown Huntsville, they're doing a lot of revitalization of the area. New hotels, condos, retail. Skybridge is going to go between downtown Huntsville and Low Mill. Cliff Farm, Town Madison continuing to grow. Mid-city expansion. I've seen some things recently where they're moving, like the Camp Coffee Shop. They're moving it, I think, to the south a little bit. There's new things going in there. And then jobs, economy, and new subdivisions all over the Huntsville area, whether in Madison or. But job and economy is still growing. Space Command coming here, Blue Origin expanding their mission here. It's just constantly growing. So future looks bright for Huntsville. I know a lot of people don't like the added number of people here, but that happens in a great place where there's great things happening. So, all right, choose Huntsville if you want to do more things like live music festivals, amphitheater concerts. They've Campus 8 of 5. If you want to be super close to that stuff, that's a good place. Huntsville is a good place for you to be. If you want more housing choices between 200 to a million plus, Huntsville's a little bit better for that. Most things in Madison stay around the 400 to 500 range, and there's not much wiggle room below the 400. There are some properties, like that one I was saying about earlier, Cliff Farm, that was under 300,000. Great price for Madison, but there's more of a range when it comes to properties in the Huntsville area. Love restaurant, city life. Yeah, Huntsville is going to be a little bit better, especially if you want to partake in the downtown type of feel. Madison has the old downtown Madison. It's much smaller, but yeah. If you prefer the shorter commute to downtown. All right, choose Madison if you have school-age kids and you want them to be in Madison City Schools. Like I said, there's plenty of things that you can put your kids in Huntsville. But if you want to be part of the public school system in Madison City, Madison's the place for you. If you prefer quiet and suburban neighborhoods and want newer construction, that is, Madison's going to be a good place for you. And then, of course, resale strength with Madison City Schools. It's going to be better than Huntsville. Huntsville still holds their value really well. I've seen a lot of comments on my videos about being overpriced. You're not going to find properties like this in other like-sized cities for these prices here. You get way more value here, and especially in Madison, they hold their resale value really well. All right, Huntsville's biggest pros. We've got more entertainment, more neighborhoods, more jobs, more housing choices in the downtown area. Madison's biggest pros: school system, beautiful subdivisions, family atmosphere. Right now, low crime, repetition, and then strong resale demand. This week we've had a kind of a rush of crime incidents. A lot of them seem to be along Highway 72 in the Huntsville area. I think one of them was close to Madison. It must be really, this heat must be really getting to people. I don't know, it's been a weird week, but that's not the norm usually. All right, honest cons, things that I like to talk about. There's always going to be something bad, but you got to weigh against what you really want. But more traffic. It's actually going to be like that in both. As the city grows, it's going to be more congested. I-565, 72 is going to be backed up. It gets backed up in Madison on 72 over there by Academy. It seems to bottleneck there with all those traffic lights. Huntsville, older neighborhoods, but some people want that where they can update the house how they like it, or pay less than they would for something in Madison. So block by block, things can change. I don't know. That's just with any neighborhood. I think that can happen in Madison too. But Madison's cons: higher prices, limited inventory, less nightlife, and then rush hour congestion. Like County Line Road's pretty bad. US 72 right there with all those lights between Target and Academy seems to be where it backs up a lot. Recommendation for buyer type: young professionals, Huntsville. If you like the downtown, I guess more social scene, Huntsville will be for you. Military families, either. You can get to Redstone quickly. So it just comes down to your budget and what school system. Families with young kids, Madison would probably be the best if you wanted to go with a public school system. Like I said, Huntsville has other options. If you want to do a private school, that's also a good way to go. First-time home buyers, there's more inventory in Huntsville, lower pricing. If you don't want to spend a lot on your first property, Huntsville might be the way to go. Luxury buyers, either. There's $700,000 plus properties in both cities. And then retirees and remote workers. It depends. I mean, if you want, I don't know. You can do pretty much anything you want in either. It's just really what you want to do. Like, you don't have to be anywhere for work or whatever. It's just what you want to be around. If you want to be out in, you can go for like Harvest and Meridianville and still get into Huntsville and Madison pretty quickly. For me, as a retiree, I'd rather live a little bit further outside the city. Live in neither Madison or Huntsville. But it's just really what you want. There's no real wrong answer here. Like I said, it's just what best fits you in your life. How far you want to commute. If you look at it from the scope of that and not what the name of the city is, then you're going to end up making a better decision. If schools are one thing that you really want your kids to be in a good public school system, and and you really care about the rating that Madison City Schools bring, then that's going to be where you want to live. But if you want downtown nightlife type, Huntsville is probably going to be that area, 5 Points, anything around that area. All right, final thoughts. Both cities are exceptional. It just really depends on your budget, what school system, what you want for life, lifestyle, commutes, and what neighborhood feel. I mean, there is a difference between the neighborhood feel of a Madison neighborhood and a Huntsville neighborhood, just because of one of the things is the age of the neighborhood. A lot of the neighborhoods in, I would say, south of 5 Points down to southeast Huntsville, a lot of those properties are older. A lot of them have been renovated, but it's just a different feel than, say, in the heart of Madison. So it's just, and another thing is when you get here, you'll want to come drive the neighborhoods, drive your commute, and that'll help you with a lot of your decision making. But then schools and budgets, another big one. But if you're ready to make your move to Huntsville and choose between Huntsville and Madison, I'd love to help you. You can click on the link in the description. It'll bring you to a website where you can schedule a call or download the Relocation Guide. Relocation Guide has all kinds of information about the city, or the two cities, and which one best fits you and your needs and goals. And but yeah, you can subscribe to the channel. I do all kinds of informative videos on the Huntsville area, and you'll learn a lot from this channel. So if you're ready, there's 3 options. You can just either schedule a call, download the Relocation Guide, or subscribe to this channel. And hopefully you learned a lot about Huntsville and Madison, what they offer, and just how everything's laid out, and the good and the bad of both cities. But if you want to learn more about where everything's located, I mentioned it before, but this video is for you. This is the in-depth map overview of Huntsville and Madison in 2026. Go ahead and click it. I'll see you over there.